Hello everyone, my name is Ashraful Islam. So today my topic will be the two-tier application deployment by using the Ansible and the Docker. So moving on, I will talk about the what is the Ansible and what is the Ansible inventory and the playbook, and the newly added what is the Ansible ad hoc command. So as we know, the Ansible is the automatic tools for managing and controlling the computer systems. So this is mostly operating the software configuration and deployment in a declarative manner by using a simple like YML language. So we can remove all the complex installation and the management of the system. And by Ansible, we can allow the user to describe the intended our the current the system will be using, and we can make sure like this has constantly and the efficiently. So this is mostly used by a lot of big company to simplify and automate the like reduce their number of the procedure. And the Ansible inventory, this is the configuration file that define the host and the host group that Ansible may manage. So this may mostly like help us to organize and define the Ansible target system. And as we know, the playbook, like this is the YML formatted file and contain the series of the text and the configuration. So it's mostly like to state the system and the direct Ansible and how we accomplish the state and the installation, the packages and the configuration system and transferring the file. So by using the playbook, we don't have to do anything manually. So we just write all the command, everything inside the playbook, and we just fire up the playbook, and it will just follow all the command inside the file. And lastly, the ad hoc command. So this is the Ansible that one line command that allow us to perform a quick task on the remote system without we have to write the playbook. So this run from the command line and generate the and give us the immediate result. So by using the ad hoc command, so this give us the handy for doing one time action like running the program, also like doing like transferring the data, and we can also restart the services. So moving on, our agenda for today will be first we'll create the EC2 server by using the Ansible for the Ansible, and then we'll pick import the key pair and create the Ansible server. After that, we can create root here Docker server with the imported key pair, and then we create the inventory file and the ansible.cfg file inside the Ansible server. And the next step will be the write the tags in the Ansible playbook to install the Docker and Docker Compose. Then we create the Docker compose.yml file to pull the Docker image. And then we'll be add the text to the copy the Docker compose.yml file and run the Docker compose stack. And then we run the Docker compose stack with the Ansible playbook. And then with the conclusion, so we'll be at the end create a different host and deploy the two-tier application in it. So moving on, we'll go to the hands-on practice now. So we go to the first. I will choose the region as US East one, since I'm the close to this region. So that's the North Virginia. And then we click on the EC2. And we click on the launch instance since we don't have any still running. As you can see, I don't have any the BPC created. So first, I think I do the create the default BPC. I create default BPC. So BPC is created. Now I'll just refresh the page. So you can see our BPC default BPC is created and it has a BPC ID on it. So for that, I will give the name as this one as a patient. And choose the one two. And the instance type we can choose the T2 medium. And keep here, I'll create a new one. So this one I can give this name as a Ansible. So this is already exists. I can get the revision and edit the network. And the main rule for this one will be all traffic and anywhere. And the storage will be 20 gigabyte. So everything looks good. So I will just click on launch instance. So our instance running. So let me copy this one, and to run our server, we need the mobile strum. So click on the section and the SSH, and name will be the Ubuntu Advanced. The key and OK. So as we can see now, we're inside this server. So first thing we need to do the AWS CLI configure. So before that we have to update our dependency. So for that we do sudo apt update. And then since our AWS CLI is a zip file, so we need to install the unzip. So do sudo apt install unzip. Okay, let me clear this one. So then this is the command for the AWS CLI installation. So while this is running, we have to configure this one. For that, we need the IAM user identity access management. Click on the user, create user, and with this name as a Ansible, and attach. We'll click on the Swan user and credential and create access key, AWS CLI confirmation, and this is the optional. So click on create user. So now we have the access key and the secret access key. So if I do the AWS X3LS, you can see it's showing the authenticate unable to locate the credential. For that, we do AWS configure, and now it asks for the access key, which is this one. I made a mistake. Okay, AWS configure. Okay, now secret access key. Now the region will be US East 1, and the output will JSON. So if I do AWS S3LX now, you can see I'm not getting any error rate. So that means our AWS CLI is configured. So next thing you have to do is install the pigs. So this is the command for the pigs. And then using the pigs, we will be install the AWS Ansible. So this is the command for that one. So you can see it's creating the libraries. So you have to wait until this is done. It's still installing the Ansible. So I have to run this one to update it. Okay, so it's ready to go. So let me just exit from here. And now let me restart the server. If I do Ansible dash version, so I can see our Ansible is installed successfully. Now I have to create the key pair. So for that, do SSH keygen. So now I get to get the key. So if I do the cat, let me go to cd.ssh, then cat, then id, ed, 25519.pub. So this is the key we need to copy. Okay, so now I have to go back and go to the instance, and if I go to the key pair and import the key pair, so I can give name as the key pair name. So for example, can give name as a Ansible key pair, and this is the put and import key. So if I refresh the page, you can see our Ansible key is showing. Then next thing I have to do is go to the instance and click on the launch instance, and I can give this name as the instance name, for example, to tier Docker Ubuntu T2 micro is good. And keypair, I will use the Ansible keypair that I imported. And the network part, I have to do the all traffic, and anywhere is good. Everything's good. So let me click on the launch instance. So if I refresh, you can see our two-tier Docker instance is running. So let me copy the IP for address. So now if I do the SSH Ubuntu @ and paste the IP address, yes. So you can see now I'm inside the two-tier Docker instance. So this is how we go to the instance that we created. So for now, let me exit from here. So now I have to make a directory. So so if I do make a directory Ansible, and I can give this name as a root here, and cd Ansible. So inside this one, I have to create a file called beam host. So inside this, I can give this name as a okay. So I can do Docker and I can paste the two-tier application host address. So now I have to create the Beam and Ansible. So for that, I go create a Beam Ansible.cfg. So inside this one, I'll be using this command. So its default inventory is a host. So it will read the file from the host, and the host key will be checking false. So let me save and quit. Now I have to create a Beam like playbook YML. So Beam playbook.yml. So inside this, I have to copy this command. So this is the command. So it will install the what this one do. It will be update the package like the repo. Then it will install the Docker on the Ubuntu, and then it will install the Docker Compose. Then it will add in the Ubuntu user in the Docker group, so that Docker command can be executed in the super user privilege. So this is basically this for. So let me save and quit. And now I have to write the command to fire up the playbook. So this is the command playbook and playbook.yml. So you can see is everything is now is following inside the YML file. So we have to wait until this everything is completed. So it's completed. So what I do is now SSH into the two-tier Docker IP address. So let me do SSH Ubuntu, enter it. So now if I do the Docker PS now and the Docker image, you can see everything's showing here. So now let me exit. Now I'm back to the two-tier I mean the whole operation host. So now I have to make a directory called this static, and then we have to create a Docker Compose YML inside this folder. So make a directory static. If I do go to static, and now I do beam compose.yml. So inside this one, I have to write this command. So this is the version 3 and it will get the command the pointer image from this GitHub repository and the backend from this repository. So now let me see. Think I made a mistake, so let me do rn minus rf static. Okay, so what I have to do is go to the Ansible, then okay, then make a directory. Okay, make a directory static and cd static and then bin compose.yml. No, bin compose.yml and have to this one, save and quit. Now have to go cd. So now I have to do bin labels. I have to configure the label. And so I have to copy these two of the command. Okay, now save and quit. So since I already configured the Ansible playbook inside it, so now I have to run the playbook in order to apply those. So this will be Ansible, then playbook, then playbook.yml. So you have to wait until this is done. So you can see that 12 of the changes is applied. So what I do is let me go back to and put here and let me go inside SSH, move on to add it. So now I'm inside the root here, the instance. So if I do the docker compose ps, so you can see our front end and back end is showing in the two-tier instance. So what about the apply I'm doing in the patient host? So it's applying here as well. So if I do docker ps now, so you see we have the container for the docker for the front end and the back end. Both of them is showing. So let me exit from here now. So let me go back to the patient host. So if I now go back, copy the IP address and port 8080. So you can see our front end and back end both running. So basically our application is already deployed. So you can see the reverse and the submission is still working. So what I do next is let me go back uh, to the instance. And for example, let me create another one. And I can give name as a new 2-tier and Ubuntu. Micro it should be good, and the key pair will be the EC2 key pair that we imported, and it will be all traffic. Everything should be good. So let me click on the launch instance. So you can see our new 2-tier is running. So what I do is delete this one, the 2-tier Docker one. Instance terminate. So I wait until this is showing is terminated. It's shutting down. So if I refresh this, it should be not working since I already terminated the instance. So you can see it's terminated. So this one should be destroyed. So this is destroyed. So let me go to the new root here and copy the IP address. It's this one, port 8080. Okay, I have to add this into the host. So if I go, okay, being host, I totally forget this one. So let me delete the old one and add the new one. Save and quit. Now I have to trigger the Ansible playbook again. Oh, not this one. Not Ansible, it should be playbook. Okay, what I did. Mhm. Yeah, this should be good. Save and quit. Then host. So let me make sure this is the right one. And then page. And more playbook. And playbook. And check the so yeah, I think what I do is let me delete this one. I create a new one again. Click on the launch instance, new root here, Ubuntu, and key pair will be, maybe I made a mistake with the key pair, Ansible key pair, add it, it will be the all traffic, should be good, launch instance. So this is the new one. So let me clear and then Beam host. Okay, save and quit. Ansible playbook and playbook one now. Okay, now it's working. So I think the previous I forgot to add the imported key pair, that's why it's not working. But I was able to find the issue and solve it. So it's getting the repo um from the Bayesian host and send it to the newly new two tier instance. So whatever we see these changes here, we're gonna see the Same thing in the newly one. So you have to wait until this is done. You can see it always apply. So now if I copy this one and go back and put 8080, you can see we can see our front end and back end now. And our front end is working and back end also working. And if I do inspect the network, and you can see the 200 status for the front end and reverse number, and also for this combination 200 status. So pretty much this is how we deploy our 2D application by using the Ansible and the Docker. So agenda, we already create the two instance server for the Ansible, and as I show you, imported the key pair create from the Ansible server. Then we create the 2-tier Docker server with the imported key pair. Then we create the inventory file called the ansible.cfg file inside the Ansible server. Then we write the tags in the Ansible playbook inside Docker and Docker Compose. Then we create the Docker Compose YML file to pull the Docker image. Then we add the tags to copy the Docker Compose YML file and run the Docker Compose stack. And as I show you, like I delete the previous instance and create a new instance. I would run the Docker Compose stack with the Ansible playbook, and we create a different host and deploy the 2D application in it. And every time we delete it and we add it into the host and run the playbook, that's how we get all the same thing our application is running. So pretty much this is the end of this video. Thank you.